watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, and this is going to be the Monday Night Raw review for the week of March 17th, 2014. Let me quickly introduce the panel for you for this week's review. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, he's our resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/LanceMossTV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
From the Hoodad Temple over on iVlog and UVlog, ladies and gentlemen, he's James from the Big Easy. James, how you doing?
You know, this is a spoiler for the Scooby-Doo movie since it's not coming out until next week, but it's on live on iTunes right now. If AJ Lee beats up Scooby-Doo, is that considered animal abuse?
Ruh-roh. Anyway, and ladies and gentlemen, from the hood over on iVlog and UVlog, ladies and gentlemen, he's the Bay Area MVP known as Will. Will, what's up?
The only thing I'm going to say is the ending to Raw, it just hasn't set well with me, but let's just get this over with.
Well, let's look at the opening of Monday Night Raw with the promo by Triple H, basically changing the whole concept of the main event. You know, last week, we heard the stipulation that if Daniel Bryan wins, then he's in for the WrestleMania main event, and it kind of sent everyone's minds ablaze, saying, "Oh, it's going to be so blatantly obvious what's going to happen. They're going to put Daniel Bryan in." But on this week's Monday Night Raw, they kind of threw a monkey wrench into everybody's thoughts about it when Triple H makes a statement that if he wins, he's going to be in the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So either way we look at it, there's going to be a triple threat main event for WrestleMania 30. Will, question to you: is that a smart move by the WWE to throw in Triple H to kind of make it a little less obvious that they want to put Daniel Bryan in the main event?
If you throw Triple H into this match, it will not set well with us, it will not set well with WWE Universe, and it will not settle with us wrestling enthusiasts all across the nation. It is bad, it is dumb. Lance could shoot me with his app because this is not going to work. And let's just say if Daniel Bryan loses, don't be shocked if people walk out. I mean, who wants to watch members of the former Evolution group fight at WrestleMania? No fucking body. Come on.
Well, and the opening matchup on this week's Monday Night Raw featured the tag team champions, the Usos, taking on the Real Americans in a non-title match. Now, for the past couple of weeks, WWE's been kind of hinting at a breakup of the Real Americans by having Cesaro and Jack Swagger having issues with each other, but we didn't really get that in this match. We got a phenomenal finish, I will say that, Lance, with Cesaro hitting that Cesaro uppercut on one of the Usos, following up by the Neutralizer. Are you a little surprised at all, Lance, that the Real Americans went over without showcasing any of the issues they've had in the previous weeks?
Yes, I am, and what surprises me even more is that I was actually entertained by a tag match, because I have stated this many times here and on HDBR, not a really big fan of tag matches, but this is definitely a front runner for match of the night for me.
Definitely. So Real Americans now in line for a tag team title shot. If anything, WWE might try to break them up on that tag team title match, having more issues with the Real Americans at that point in time. The next matchup, we had Sheamus and Titus O'Neil. Can someone please explain to me what the hell that getup was? Now, I can understand WWE wanting to kind of celebrate St. Patrick's Day in a sense, James, but Titus O'Neil and a red goatee just looked a little ridiculous.
It does, I know. It really does. I don't know. It's because his last name's O'Neil and the whole, Irish last name with O whatever.
And Creative had been drinking, had started the St. Patrick's Day celebration a little early, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. That's the impression I got. But another thing to note about what happened after this matchup was over, Christian assaulted Sheamus. So, needless to say, that they're still building up this feud. And I've said it for the past couple of weeks now that I personally feel, well, that this, even though some fans don't want to see it, but I feel that this feud between Sheamus and Christian will probably culminate at WrestleMania.
And for those who paid attention at Elimination Chamber, that they really got off on each other as much as they did. So yes, I agree. This will be a 3-star WrestleMania match, even though I don't want to be mean on it. But at the same time, I just don't feel that Christian will be the desperate guy as he claimed a month and a half ago. Going into it, it'll be an okay match, just not settling in for a 4-star match. Sorry. I know James wants to say something.
I want to call a timeout. Both of them are in the Battle Royal.
They are?
Yes. Both of them has announced that they will be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Well, so excuse me then.
Yeah, pardon me as well. But up next, somebody who probably didn't need a pardon. John Cena was out there to respond to the Wyatt's promos from the previous week, and when he makes mention of the fact that he's scared of Bray Wyatt, but he's still going to fight him at WrestleMania. I'm not sure I follow where that promo was going to. And then we got Bray Wyatt, who a lot of fans feel is really, really good on the microphone. If you can really understand and the cryptic things he says in his promos, Bray Wyatt in a John Cena T-shirt to kind of illustrate a point about how fake a hero John Cena is in his eyes, and that's the reason why he was going after him. Let me just say this: it's really putting a spotlight on Bray Wyatt if you look at it from that aspect, because Bray Wyatt needing that kind of exposure and getting the opportunity to work with John Cena at WrestleMania means that you really kind of cemented your place in the WWE. I mean, if you didn't have a match to work with such a big guy, one of the top guys in the WWE, despite what all the Cena haters out there believe, Cena is still one of the top guys in the WWE, and getting the opportunity to work with them, in my mind, Lance, really kind of cements Bray Wyatt's status in the WWE. Would you not agree?
Yes, I would. And, well, it's kind of like in every prison movie you see. Like, if you want to cement your name, you go after the biggest dog in the cage. So it's perfect. And two, in the whole not being able to understand Bray Wyatt, he has the whole back crap crazy mic skill. So yeah, it makes sense that we wouldn't be able to understand what he's saying.
Well, earlier in the night, in fact, in the opening segment, Randy Orton asked Triple H for a no disqualification match with Daniel Bryan to kind of prove to Dave Batista that he could do what he could not the previous week and put away Daniel Bryan. A very good no disqualification match. I really like the fact that they brought in some weapons like the kendo stick and the steel chair. I'd still like to know who Randy Orton was yelling at. I think some fan had yelled "ring the bell" because of what Randy Orton did, but they completely forgot the stipulation of the match was a no disqualification match. And Randy Orton, very clearly on camera, you can hear him, made the fan very aware of the gross misconception and of the fan, him being kind of disillusioned as to what the match stipulation truly was. I kind of figured, James, I kind of figured earlier in the night when we saw Dave Batista leaving that he wasn't really leaving, that he was going to do something to answer the RKO that he suffered at the hands of Randy Orton at the end of the opening segment. And Batista coming in to spear Randy Orton and then Bryan drop kicking him out of the ring. It's really doing a lot more in my mind, I would think, for Randy Orton and versus Batista rather than including Daniel Bryan into that mix, because following all of that action, Batista got in the ring and Batista bombed him. Notice I said Batista, not Bootista, as some other fans out there like to refer to him as, and I still think that's wrong. But, James, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think even though it's more like Batista beating up Orton, I think the fact that he interfered in the match and cost Orton the match made it to where, okay, this is a possibility. You might see this at WrestleMania, and just I knew he wasn't going to leave. I'm just like, he's got to come back somehow, and he did. So.
Definitely. Following that action, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman had a message for The Undertaker saying that at WrestleMania 30, The Undertaker, following a short little video package they had of Undertaker's previous victories at WrestleMania, saying how he barely won it, and Brock Lesnar, who I think his name was said about 6,789 times in that short promo by Paul Heyman, was going to conquer all of those people hands down easily, and he said that The Undertaker and his streak will rest in peace at WrestleMania. I gotta say, for the build they're doing so far for Undertaker and Lesnar, like they didn't need much of a build, Will, in my opinion, because of the name value that they have, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Even though I've never really been high on Brock Lesnar to begin with, but the build they're going towards this, it's definitely interesting, because I do believe tonight on WWE's main event, The Undertaker is going to be on there to respond to what Paul Heyman had to say. So, what do you think is going to be happening when it comes to that?
Well, another thing I can say is, of course, Undertaker is going to reply to what Heyman said, and it's a shock that Undertaker is going to be on main event and not on Raw. I mean, I know this is to probably get people to watch main event or Superstars, because I think those are the two shows that are underutilized. But going back to the topic at hand, I mean, for him to talk on such a show that doesn't get many people tuned in, it's interesting, I'll tell you that. And I'm looking forward to this match at Mania, guaranteed.
Well, definitely having someone like The Undertaker on WWE's main event is definitely a good way to get people to tune into that one, if you know what I'm saying. But let's go up to the next match, Goldust versus Fandango. My only thought about this is why. But I wonder if you guys caught this, though. At one point, Summer Rae was on the ring apron. She gets accidentally knocked off. Cody Rhodes catches her, and she kind of starts eyeballing Cody Rhodes, like she's window shopping, if you kind of get what I'm saying right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys caught that. So maybe a feud in the works now for Fandango and Cody Rhodes? Very possible. Especially over a girl, Summer Rae. And I don't blame him, because Summer Rae is absolutely hot. What I found interesting is what happened next. Kane comes out, accuses Jerry the King Lawler of, helping Daniel Bryan previously in the Yes Movement occupation, and wanted the Shield to help him beat down Jerry the King Lawler. Now, with the Shield defying Kane and attacking him instead, Lance, would you say that would cement the Shield as now a face faction in the WWE?
Well, I'd say more tweener, because they seem like a group that they don't like to be threatened or bossed around. But unless you pay them, because remember they are like supposed to be mercenaries. So yeah, we'll do it if you pay us, but don't try to boss us around, or, well, Kane found out what happens. Although, good on the Shield for saving Jerry.
Well, up next we have the return of Naomi from her ocular injury to her eye, as she and Cameron teamed up to take on AJ Lee and Tamina. With Naomi's making her return, it was really not that big of a surprise that she was going to be the one to be put over, but a lot of fans are kind of calling in to what happened after the match was over, with AJ Lee and Tamina starting to have issues. Now, we saw in the previous week on Impact where Gail Kim and Lady Tampa had part ways. James, being the Divas King here on WGS-TV and HWR, did you find that all to be a coincidence that they would start WWE would start having AJ Lee and Tamina have issues following the exact same week or time that Gail Kim and Lady Tapa had issues?
Yes, and I think might lead into something later on. And I have made a chart about AJ Lee's possible opponents for WrestleMania. As you can see, Natalya did lose that main event, so she's out. So we got Nikki, Naomi, and maybe Tamina. So it got to be a triple threat or a fatal four-way at WrestleMania for the Divas title. And as I said, it's a coincidence that WWE's actually stealing something from TNA. It's basically breaking up the alliance between the two top divas or knockouts, break up the alliance with their bodyguards. So.
Definitely. Following that, ladies and gentlemen, we get the information of the announcement of the newest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's going to be in the celebrity wing, and this time I don't think the fans will boo this celebrity like they booed Drew Carey last year for the Hall of Fame. It's Mr.
Drew
T.
Carey wasn't that. It wasn't Drew Carey. It was Donald Trump, I think.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump. I'm talking about well when Drew Carey went in, nonetheless they still booed him. But now we have Mr. T. A lot of fans are wondering, why Mr. T? You got to think back. Mr. T was kind of involved in the first main event at WrestleMania. He was also in a boxing match at WrestleMania 2 with Roddy Piper. He brought a lot of mainstream media into the World Wrestling Federation at that time. So I think that, in my personal opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but in my personal opinion, Mr. T has kind of cemented his spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. Will, what's your opinion about Mr. T going into the Hall of Fame?
I pay the fool that don't vote for me for WWE Hall of Fame. Look at all that gold I have around my neck. Did you see I shook Hogan's hand? That's what I can think of. But other than that, sorry for the joke there. I mean, it came as a shock to me, and I think it's well deserved. Even though I have not seen Mr. T wrestle, I would have to probably go back to some old videos or whatever. I never understood the concept of how he and Piper never got along, but I guess very good for him.
Definitely. Up next, we had an 8-man tag match, which kind of talked about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. We're also get the announcement that the Big Show has also entered into that Memorial Battle Royal. We have Big Show, Mark Henry, Big E, Dolph Ziggler taking on Ryback, Del Rio, and Damian Sandow. Pretty decent 8-man tag match for what it was. They kind of put a little bit of focus on the Big Show, not only having him do that promo before the match started, that recorded interview, but also having Big Show get the win using the chokeslam on Damian Sandow, putting a little bit of focus on him. So I think smart move right there by WWE. Following that, Kofi Kingston and Bray Wyatt. Let's just say this, Lance. There are a lot of fans who would say that WWE is really misusing Kofi Kingston. Would you kind of agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, Kofi got squashed last night like a bug. Basically had him jobbed to Bray Wyatt. Now, I get why they did it, to try to boost Bray Wyatt, but was Heath Slater or some member of 3MB not around backstage so they could do it? Seriously, we got 3MB, some other jobber, maybe a local guy or something. Come on.
Yeah, well,
but I think is the fact with this one is that they've been misusing Kofi Kingston since he debuted.
Come on, give him a break.
I mean, look at him. We maybe get maybe 1 or 2 U.S. title, 1 or 2 Intercontinental title reigns. But what else he been doing? Not much. He been jobbing to everybody else.
Well, let's get to the finale of Monday Night Raw, where they had Triple H call out Daniel Bryan, I guess, to talk to him man-to-man, which really turned into be a big setup. Stephanie McMahon called out police there to put him in handcuffs, and then we get the big realization that those guys weren't really cops; they were just guys paid by them to handcuff Daniel Bryan, and Triple H started a beatdown. One thing that really had fans on edge during that whole beatdown. There were two things that was constantly said throughout the night about it. One, that it was a little excessive, the way they pulled it off, and two, a lot of fans are calling into question the chair shot to the head that Triple H did on Daniel Bryan, when WWE has really kind of banned chair shots to the head. And a lot of people are wondering, with Triple H, having his position in the world, in the WWE, that he could kind of get away with a little bit more than that. What are your thoughts about that?
It's funny that you mentioned that. Me and MSK, we actually agreed on something that that Daniel Bryan's abuse when he was handcuffed was a little over excessive. But I know some people probably say, this is just Triple H building himself to be the ultimate heel going into WrestleMania. But the chair shot, I mean, come on now. I mean, WWE has been in their own cesspool of hypocrisy talking about no chair shots to the head. So I guess Triple H doesn't, adhere to their policies. So hypocrite anyone? But, I mean, good match, but it just, in my mind, I'm probably a little bit over the top here. I apologize, but if WWE cannot adhere to their own rules and policies, then you just got hypocrite all over. But as far as that chair shot, a little too excessive in my mind. I don't know if any of you guys agree or not, but I took it excessively.
For me, it's like we know they banned chair shots, but I think it wasn't a real chair shot. I think he just hit the post. It makes it look like he hit him in the head, but he didn't.
Definitely. Well, it's time to go into fan reviews here for this week's Monday Night Raw, and we have quite a few people who want to sound off about their thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. First comment is from Millie Edna Dink Sleesman, and Millie says it was not the best. Patrick Yerxa said, "I'm not too happy about the end of WWE Raw. Where is Stone Cold or CM Punk?" Really, Patrick? Really? I don't even know if I should answer that, but you know what happened to CM Punk. Stone Cold, he doesn't need to come back. I mean, they don't really need him right now. Damian Carnage said, "It's just another typical Raw, just with added story, other than that it's the same as always. I'm pretty disappointed about this. I guess you could call it a build-up to WrestleMania. They better step up the build to it, or no one will buy it at all. I mean, the WWE Network subscribers, such as myself, will get it, but they will lose viewers if they don't step it up." Damian makes a good point right there. Casey Cunningham says, "Pantera versus Taka Michinoku 1998 No Way Out. Watch this match. If you have seen it, tell your friends. It is awesome." As for Raw, the best moment of the night was the Hounds turning on their wannabe master and showing that they are no one's pets. Still mad over the use of Kofi Kingston. Second favorite part was the thought of a mini Evolution triple threat, which won't happen. People, chill. I wish it would, but let's face it, Bryan will be WWE World Heavyweight Champion by the end of the night at WrestleMania. And the final comment from the Facebook page comes to us from Shane Rennan, says, "All I have to say is wow." I'd like to thank all of you who sent in their thoughts and their comments about Monday Night Raw on the Facebook page. As always, whenever we do get people sending in their comments, we will read them out loud here on the official reviews of WGS-TV. Speaking of that, it's time to go into everyone's overall scores and their picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw this week, despite a couple of spots, it was a fairly decent show. In my opinion, there were a couple of dry areas. A lot of fans are shown some concern about, the excessive use of the chair shots towards the end of Monday Night Raw. Do they feel it was absolutely necessary to give Triple H more heat for their matchup coming up at WrestleMania? A lot of fans are calling into question that. But if I had to go overall best match of the night, it would be a tough call to make, but I will give it to definitely what I really enjoyed was the Randy Orton Daniel Bryan no disqualification match. It was a good match. I liked the use of the weapons. I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Real Americans versus the Usos for a great tag match. Worst match of the night, or should I say worst segment before a match, is that ridiculous getup Titus O'Neil had on. I mean, really, I can understand WWE's used to try to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but Titus O'Neil with a red goatee looked like a clown. You're trying to sell Titus O'Neil as this new heel, and you made him dress up to look absolutely ridiculous. I think that was a bad move by the WWE. Just my opinion on it. Let's go to Lance next and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. Lance?
Overall, I thought it was really good. I got to give it a 4. Best match, I got to go with the Usos versus Real Americans. Best segment, I will give the devil his due, and also the Buzzards. John Cena and the Wyatt family promo. Best segment. Worst match, the Kofi Kingston squash. Worst segment, honestly, Paul Heyman needs to step up his mic skills because he's been kind of holding back a little bit the past month or so. He just hadn't been having the same intensity, I've noticed, because we know he is a master of that mic. He's just been holding back some lately. At least that's how I've been seeing it. And worst kept secret of the week, Mr. T going into the Hall of Fame. But I do like that, him going in. It's just worst kept secret of the week.
All right, James, you're up next with your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. As we see, he's already holding up his scorecard.
That's a 3. Yes, that's my score for Raw. All right. The best match, I would have to give it to the tag team match. The Usos and the Real Americans. I think it was a good match, and I think this is a possible WrestleMania match. And I think they're gonna do a breakup maybe at WrestleMania. The best segment, even though LVB hates it, I like it. Was the last segment between Triple H and Daniel Bryan, because it got me and it made me feel like it was like that Attitude Era, because that's something I grew up with. I mean, yes, it was excessive, but that's where it got me into wrestling. It's like the excessiveness. It's like to get like, oh, I hate this guy, you know. The worst match is a tie between Goldust and Fandango, because I don't know why, and Bray Wyatt and Kofi Kingston. That poor bastard. Worst segment, Bad News Barrett. Why? That's all I'm going to say. Why? That's it for me.
And finally, we're going to go to the Bay Area MVP known as Will and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. Will?
Alright, it's 3.5. Best match was the tag team match, Usos versus Real Americans. Worst match, I'm sorry. Any match you put Fandango in, and I have to quote Rick from Hardcore Wrestling Radio, you just want to either take a cat nap or you want to change the channel. Even though Goldust is, I consider, a future legend, hopefully WWE will acknowledge that somehow. Best segment, like Lance said, I'll give the devil his due. John Cena talking about how he's scared for Bray Wyatt and how much that this will put credibility for Bray Wyatt's career. Worst segment, Titus O'Neil did fucking Party Central give me that mask and mustache. That sucked. An honorable mention to Christian, but yeah, he ain't gonna get nowhere. And another honorable mention for those who probably forgot. Please get Cody Rhodes smiling when he caught Summer Rae in his hands. That was funny.
Well, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts about Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? Did you guys feel that the ending segment with Triple H and Daniel Bryan was a little excessive? You know, that's our questions to you guys out there. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, Q&As, Redneck Gourmet cooking videos, and whatever else pops in my head.
Well, both James and Will, they're both over on iVlog with the Who Dat Temple and the Hood. Guys, what you got coming up?
James gonna go referee a girls' lingerie match. Look at that shirt.
No, Steve. I got work today. All right, I got work today. But anyway,
Dude, I gave you. It's the ladies. Come on, dude. You in front of 12 ladies. Come on. It wasn't.
Anyway, going off topic. We're on iVlog. You can see his thing over there on his lower third. You see mine. That's iVlog.tv. Go wherever you want. We will talk about game shows, wrestling, whatever the hell we talk about. Like, we could talk about her if we wanted to.
Fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZepXTV Network if you haven't already. I'd like to throw out a special shout out and a thank you to the people here at the Ramada Lafayette Conference Center for allowing me to film this week's Monday Night Raw review over here. If you guys want to find out more information, you can look them up on the web, and you can also, if you're in the Lafayette area, go to area code 337-4808-2812 for more information concerning the Ramada Lafayette Conference Center. So again, I'd like to throw out a special thanks to them, and I'd also like to throw out a special thanks to you guys out there for, like I said, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to this channel and ZepX TV Network. So with that being said, for the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, the Bay Area MVP known as well, and James from the Big Easy, I'm the Wrestle Gamer, Double B. Emily Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. And P.S. there will be no more mentions of Oksana or pictures of Oksana on this review. I'm coming to kill you, James.
Oksana.
Best in the world!